How we doing? Welcome back into the den. I'm Tobin, episode 7 in my razor review series. A razor from Weidi that I bought off of Amazon back at the beginning of March of 2024. Today is September 22nd, 2024. I've used this 20 or 30 times. Most recently was just for yesterday's shave. I'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. I'm going to follow the same layout that I've done with the previous 6 videos. The first razor that I did, episode 1, I'll put a link to that in the description. That was the Bolmica razor off of Amazon. That is still a great razor, but in a lot of ways, I like this one better. Let's get into it. First thing we're going to take a look at is what I call the efficiency score. Blade gap, blade exposure, and blade angle are what determines how efficient a razor is. For simplicity, we're just going to look at the exposure and the blade gap. The blade gap is 0.015 of an inch or 0.38 millimeters. A little bit of context, the Merkur 37C, which I used yesterday, and this is a razor that a lot of people will recommend to new wet shavers. I think that is a very outdated philosophy. I love the Merkur 34C. In fact, I have 12 or 15 or 20 Merkur razors, and I love all of them. I collect Merkur razors, but I do not believe that the Merkur 34C is a razor that you'll ever see me recommend first to a new wet shaver, and certainly not for a first razor. I believe you can do better for the price. That one runs about $45 on Amazon. So anyways, 0.020 of a gap on the Merkur 34C. The gap on this is slightly smaller at 0.015. The exposure is what we call neutral, meaning that it's just about right to where you can feel the blade on the skin, but not too much to where it becomes aggressive and uncomfortable. And for new wet shavers, I think a little bit of blade feel is good because it helps with the learning process. You're able to actually feel the blade, know where it is, and you can find the angle better. So I do recommend that for a new wet shaver that they use something that either has a neutral blade gap, that would be my or blade exposure, that would be my first recommendation, or a positive, certainly not a negative. So this, when it comes to the amount of blade that is exposed, for me personally, when I shave with it, I love it. And for a new wet shaver, I think it's great. Now, with the scale, 10 being like the most efficient, the most aggressive razor ever, and 1 being, the mildest razor ever, I'm giving this a 4 for efficiency. It's just below average with that 0.015 of a gap, but at the same time, with the neutral blade exposure and the angle that they have, I get a damn fine shave with it. My shave yesterday, I did 3 passes and a cleanup on the right side of my face with this. And then the Merkur 34C, both of them I used Tiger Platinum's first use, 3 passes and a cleanup. So like basically a total of 4. This razor got me a closer shave than the Merkur 34C, even though the Merkur 34C has a bigger blade gap. That brings us next into what I call the symmetry score. With the symmetry score, we're looking at the knurling, the grippiness of the handle, the blade tabs, whether or not they're exposed, and then the weight and balance of the razor. The weight and balance is perfectly done. Weidi is the company that owns Bali. You may have heard of them or seen their products. They do shaving creams. They make 1,001 different razors, and including razor blades. This comes with a pack of 5 blades, and they're just unmarked Balis. That's exactly what they are. If you're familiar with Bali blades, this is a Bali blade, just without the name Bali on it. I'm probably not pronouncing the names right, Weidi and Bali. The knurling is good. It's not like aggressive or anything. It doesn't feel slippery in the hand. I'm very happy with the knurling on this razor. And then the blade tabs are completely covered. And one of the cool things about this razor, I think it gives it a cool look, and it covers the blade tabs. Like I always say, blade tabs being exposed, I don't mind if the blade tabs are exposed because I don't shave under my nose and it's never an issue for me. But for a lot of guys, it is. The blade tabs are completely covered, like 100%. You cannot feel the blade tabs. So for a symmetry score, the knurling, the blade tabs, and the weight and balance, 8.5 out of 10. brings us down into the permanent score. With the permanent score, we're going to look at the durability of the razor, the construction material. The construction material is like a zinc alloy, some type of Zamac type alloy material. Not the strongest. I do feel like, though, that this razor is made well, especially for the price. The only thing the only place that this razor would fail, and with a lot of razors, is going to be the post on the top cap. The little post that stands up right here. If you were to drop it, it may eventually break. That's usually most razors' weak point, that when they do break, that's usually what breaks. I think this razor, I've only had it for 6 months now, right? Which is a long time, more time than what most people give for a review. I've really put this razor through a lot of different tests and tried to, see how good it was, because I was so impressed with it that I just kept going back to it. I meant to do this review a long time ago, to be totally honest, too. I only wanted to give it a couple of months, but just summer and whatnot. Anywho, focus. So the durability in the construction, it's definitely not the best, right? But what we're paying for this razor, and for being for a new wet shaver, or for a travel razor, or for a razor that someone like myself could buy and give to a new wet shaver, I think it's absolutely perfect. Regardless, though, I'm giving it a score of 6.5 for durability and construction material. Friendliness to new wet shavers, taking into account everything up above. Friendliness to new wet shavers. I recommend that a new wet shaver doesn't spend less than 30 and not more than 50. I do feel like that this one, though, is a good exception, and that's the reason why I'm reviewing it today. So far this year, I've bought 12 cheap razors off of Amazon, and so far I've only shared with you now 2 of them, the Bulmica being the first one and this one. And that's because out of the, I think 12 is the accurate number that I've purchased when it comes to cheap razors, inexpensive razors off of Amazon, that this one and the Bulmica are 2 that I think are exceptions to the rule. And one of the beautiful things is that if you buy it and you're not happy with it, since it's from Amazon and you're a Prime member like I am, you can return it, no questions asked. It ships from and sells, it's sold by and ships from Amazon. So if you're a Prime member like I am, you can return it without any problems. Friendliness to new wet shavers, a 10. Overall value, I'm also going to give it a 10. I paid $8.49 for it back in March. It currently is retailing for $9.01. The retail price that they have listed is $9.99. So you buy this razor for $9 and you're not happy with it, you can easily return it. I'm not going to return it. If nothing else, I'm going to keep it for a travel razor, a razor that if something happens to it, I don't have to worry about it. It's another one of those things too that it has the 2-day shipping. So if I was traveling somewhere, I could easily just have it mailed to that hotel or wherever I'm going, and it would be there for me in a jiffy. Like if I forgot a razor, there's so many great things about these cheap razors off of Amazon when you find a good one. And I really feel like with this one here from Weidi that we have a good one. I'm giving it an overall value of 10. Is it the best razor ever? No, sir. It is not the best razor ever. But for $9, I think it is one of the best values ever. I really do. It's a good looking razor. I believe this is the same razor that Barrister and Mann, the soap company, is selling on their website with a nicer box. This does come in a nice little presentation box. I forgot to set it on my stool. You can see it in the photos. And it comes with 5 blades. And the blades are not the best, but I used them in a handful of different razors, and including this razor. And I was very happy with them. I really was. They're not the best razor. Maybe 2 shaves tops out of them, but for a new wet shaver or for a travel razor or for a razor that an experienced wet shaver like myself wants to gift to somebody and do so inexpensively, this razor is the cat's meow. I swear by it. I really do. And I'm not going to make a penny off of this. I'm not an affiliate with Amazon. I will not make a cent off of this razor. I just really think it's a great razor, and that's why I wanted to get it into my razor review series. It's the little big things, my friends. And with all of these razors in this series, the biggest focus is value. Value is the little big thing. Do I feel like I got my $8.49 worth? Yes, I do. If I paid $10 for it, would I feel like I got my money's worth? Absolutely. This is definitely worth every penny of $10, even though I only paid $8.49. And right now, September 22nd, 2024, they have it listed for $9.01. Take care, guys. I'll see you next time.